Have you ever wondered why your muscles seem to disappear quietly while you sleep? It's a surprising truth many older women face, losing up to 8% of muscle every decade after 60, often without even realizing it. I've been there too, waking up feeling weaker, wondering if this slow loss was just something I had to accept as part of getting older. It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the good news. This isn't just an unavoidable part of aging. There's a gentle, simple way to fight back, and it starts with what you eat before bed. I'm not talking about complicated diets or exhausting workouts, just small changes that make a huge difference. Imagine waking up feeling stronger, more energized, and more confident in your body, all by adding a few easy-to-find foods to your nighttime routine. Science shows that certain foods eaten before sleep can help rebuild your muscles and keep you feeling vibrant. So, what if the secret to reversing muscle loss is as close as your kitchen? Tonight, I'm going to share 8 powerful bedtime foods that doctors recommend for older women who want to protect their strength and independence. You deserve to live well, to move freely, and to feel strong every day. What's one small step you could take tonight to start that journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts below because this is your time to shine. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. Food number 1. Whey protein shake. There's something almost magical about a quiet house late at night. The world slows down, and for a moment, it feels like you finally have time for yourself. But as you settle into bed, you might not realize that while you're resting, your body is quietly losing something precious, your strength. It's not fair, is it? All those years of caring for others, working hard, raising families, building a life full of memories. And now, your muscles are slipping away, one peaceful night at a time. That's what happened to me, and to so many women I know. It's not that we suddenly stopped moving or caring. It's simply that after 60, our bodies need more to stay strong. For years, I just accepted that waking up stiff, weak, or unsteady was normal for my age. I heard friends joke about losing muscle overnight, but I never thought much of it. Doctor's appointments started to feel like a list of what I'd lost: bone density, muscle tone, independence. Then, I came across something I'd never really considered before: whey protein. At first, it sounded like something reserved for bodybuilders, those muscle-bound folks lifting heavy weights in the gym. Surely, it couldn't have anything to do with me, a grandmother who just wanted to garden, take walks, and keep up with my grandkids. But the more I read, the more I realized I'd been missing out on a secret that scientists have known for years. You see, after 65, our bodies develop what doctors call anabolic resistance. It's just a fancy term for the simple fact that we don't use the protein we eat as efficiently as we once did. Even if you're eating enough chicken, eggs, or beans during the day, your muscles might not be getting the signal to rebuild at night, when most of the real magic happens. It's at night, while you sleep, that your body works to repair, restore, and even grow new muscle tissue. But if there's not enough of the right kind of protein in your system, your body has no choice but to break down what you already have. No wonder so many older women wake up feeling weak. This is where whey protein steps in like a quiet hero. Unlike many foods, whey protein is quickly absorbed and packed with leucine, the key amino acid that flips the on switch for muscle growth and repair. Think of leucine as the green light your body needs to start rebuilding muscle. Without it, your body can't do its best work, even if you're doing everything right. I remember being amazed to learn that a simple whey protein shake before bed could increase nighttime muscle protein synthesis by 22%, and that was in women who didn't even exercise. Imagine what it could do for you, whether you're starting a gentle strength routine or simply want to feel more steady on your feet. Making a whey protein shake couldn't be easier, and you don't need to worry about complicated recipes. I started with a scoop of high-quality whey protein isolate. Look for one with little or no added sugar or artificial flavors. mixed with a glass of water or unsweetened almond milk. If I wanted a little extra flavor, sometimes I'd add a few slices of banana, a dash of cinnamon, or a drop of vanilla extract. The beauty is, it's customizable to your taste and needs. For those who are sensitive to lactose, I found that isolates and hydrolyzed whey proteins were much gentler on my stomach than regular milk or yogurt. What surprised me most wasn't just waking up with a bit more energy or less stiffness. Over a few weeks, I noticed my balance improved. I could get up from my favorite chair without pushing off with both hands. The steps outside my porch felt less daunting. My family saw the change too. They told me my posture looked better and that I seemed more lively, more myself. It was like slowly getting back a piece of me that I thought had faded away with the years. Something is empowering about realizing you can take control, even in small ways. Whey protein shakes became my little ritual, a sign to myself that I was worth caring for. I even started talking about it with friends over coffee, sharing recipes and stories of progress, no matter how small. It became about more than just muscles. It was about reclaiming strength, dignity, and independence. About waking up ready for another day, full of the things I love. So if you've ever woken up feeling weaker, or worried that losing muscle is just part of the aging process, I want you to know that you're not alone and you're not powerless. Whey protein shakes are not just for athletes or fitness fanatics. They are a simple, proven, and gentle way for women like us to support our bodies and keep doing what matters most. Give it a try. Start tonight. Mix up your shake, take a sip, and as you drift off to sleep, know that you're giving your body exactly what it needs to keep you strong, steady, and full of life for years to come. You deserve that, and so much more. Food number 2. Tart cherry juice. Sometimes, it's the smallest things that change your whole perspective. I remember the first time I heard someone mention Tart cherry juice. Not the sweet cherry drinks you find in every grocery store, but that deep, ruby red liquid with a tangy bite. It was during a phone call with an old friend who'd recently started waking up refreshed and pain-free after years of restless sleep. At first, I laughed it off. Surely, a little juice couldn't make that much of a difference. But as the days went by and my nights were marked by aching joints, stiff legs, and the disappointment of waking up more tired than when I went to bed, I found myself wondering, what if something as simple as Tart cherry juice could help? The struggle of sleepless nights is all too familiar for many women my age. Maybe you, too, know what it's like to toss and turn, counting the hours, hoping the pain in your knees or hips will subside just long enough for you to drift off. Or maybe it's the frustration of feeling sore and sluggish every morning, the stiffness in your muscles reminding you that your body is not what it once was. We often blame ourselves, as if poor sleep and aches are just the price of getting older. But what if the answer is less about accepting discomfort and more about giving our bodies what they need to heal? I'll never forget the day I decided to try Tart cherry juice for myself. The bottle looked unassuming, tucked away among the health drinks at the market, but when I poured that first glass and took a sip, I tasted something vibrant, almost alive. It was tart, yes, but in a way that woke up my senses. That night, I drank about half a cup 30 minutes before bed, more out of curiosity than real hope. The next morning, I woke up surprised. I hadn't tossed and turned, and my muscles felt just a little looser, my joints a bit less stiff. It wasn't a miracle, but it was a start. And as the weeks went by, those small improvements added up. What makes Tart cherry juice so powerful isn't just its taste. It's loaded with natural compounds called anthocyanins, which are responsible for that gorgeous red color and, even more importantly, have strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. I learned that inflammation is a sneaky culprit, quietly breaking down muscle tissue and making recovery harder as we age. But Tart cherry juice works like a gentle balm, calming those invisible fires and helping our bodies repair instead of decline. There's also something else: melatonin. We often talk about melatonin as the sleep hormone, and for good reason. As we age, our bodies produce less of it, which can throw off our natural sleep rhythms. Tart cherry juice is one of the few foods that naturally contains melatonin, helping your body settle into a deeper, more restorative sleep. That means you're not just lying in bed with your eyes closed. You're giving your muscles and joints the time they need to recover and rebuild. It's like putting your body into a gentle, healing mode every single night. The science backs this up, too. I remember reading about a study where older adults who drank tart cherry juice before bed experienced a significant reduction in muscle soreness and morning pain. Their sleep quality improved, and they even measured higher levels of antioxidants in their blood. It wasn't about overnight miracles, but steady, consistent progress, just like the way nature works. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Drinking tart cherry juice became my little ritual, something I looked forward to after a long day. I'd pour my glass, sometimes with a splash of water if the taste was too bold, and sip it slowly, feeling as though I was treating myself to a moment of self-care. Some nights, I'd add a squeeze of fresh lemon or even a few ice cubes for a refreshing twist. It wasn't just about the juice, but about taking time to honor my body and the years it's carried me through life. As weeks turned to months, the changes were undeniable. I found myself moving more easily in the mornings, standing up with less hesitation, and walking through my garden with a new sense of ease. My sleep, while never perfect, became deeper and more restful. The pain and stiffness, once constant companions, faded into the background. Best of all, I felt like I was taking charge of my health again, making choices that honored both my needs and my future. So if you're tired of restless nights and waking up achy, why not give tart cherry juice a try? You don't have to change everything at once. Just a small glass before bed might be all it takes to start feeling like yourself again. Strong, capable, and full of life. Sometimes, the path to healing begins with a single, tart sweet sip. Let yourself believe in the possibility of better mornings and kinder nights. You're worth it. Food number 3. Almond butter. When you've lived long enough, you learn that comfort can come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes it's in the gentle warmth of a well-worn blanket, the laughter of a grandchild, or the steady hand of an old friend. And sometimes, comfort is found in something as simple as a spoonful of almond butter before bed. A tiny act of self-kindness that nourishes not just your body, but your spirit too. I can't help but smile thinking about my introduction to almond butter. It wasn't something I grew up with. In my day, peanut butter was king, and almonds were usually tossed into fruitcake at the holidays or sprinkled on salads for special occasions. But the first time I tried almond butter, it was almost by accident. My daughter had left a jar on my kitchen counter after one of her health nut visits. The jar looked fancy, the label promising things like protein, healthy fats, and magnesium. Words that, frankly, sounded more like medicine than food. But one evening, after a particularly restless day, I found myself reaching for that jar, curiosity nudging me to try something new. I scooped out a small spoonful, savoring the creamy texture and the rich, slightly sweet flavor. It felt wholesome and grounding, like a quiet hug at the end of a busy day. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. My mind, usually cluttered with worries about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday, felt quieter. The next morning, my muscles ached a little less, and I had more energy for the simple joys, a walk around the block, kneading bread, even weeding the flower beds without that familiar twinge in my knees. As it turns out, almond butter is much more than just a trendy spread. It's a true powerhouse for women in their golden years, especially those of us concerned with staying strong, steady, and independent. Almond butter is loaded with healthy fats that nourish your muscles through the night, delivering a slow, steady stream of energy rather than the quick spike and crash you get from sugary treats. Unlike so many nighttime snacks that leave you feeling sluggish or guilty, almond butter helps stabilize your blood sugar, keeping those annoying 2 a.m. wake-ups at bay. But what makes almond butter special is its natural richness in magnesium and vitamin E. Magnesium is like a lullaby for your muscles, easing tension and preventing those painful nighttime cramps that can jolt you out of even the deepest sleep. Vitamin E, meanwhile, works quietly to repair tissue, support immune health, and fight off the tiny bits of wear and tear that add up over a lifetime. The result? You wake up feeling more refreshed, more mobile, and less weighed down by aches and stiffness. I've come to love the little evening ritual almond butter offers. Some nights, I'll enjoy a spoonful straight from the jar, a small, simple treat just for me. Other times, I'll spread it on a piece of whole grain toast, or pair it with crisp apple slices for a satisfying crunch. I even discovered that stirring a dab into a warm bowl of oatmeal makes for a dessert-like bedtime snack that fills me up and soothes my soul. The beauty of almond butter is how effortless it is. No fancy equipment or special recipes are needed. Just an open jar and a moment of self-care. For anyone who worries about calories or fats, let me assure you, it's not about indulging recklessly, but about making mindful choices. A modest spoonful, about a tablespoon or so, is more than enough to work its magic. And the benefits go beyond muscle health and better sleep. I've noticed that my skin feels softer, my nails stronger, and my hair just a bit shinier. Tiny but meaningful signs that my body is grateful for the extra care. What's more, sharing the secret of almond butter has brought me closer to friends and family. My grandkids now request Grandma's special almond butter apples as a treat, and my friends at our weekly book club have started swapping almond butter recipes. It's become a small act of love, one that ripples outward and helps us all feel stronger together. So, if you've never tried almond butter as a bedtime snack, why not start tonight? It may sound simple, but sometimes the simplest things have the greatest power. Give your muscles, your mind, and your heart a gentle gift at the end of the day. Let almond butter remind you that strength, comfort, and healing can come in the smallest, most delicious moments. You are never too old to try something new or to care for yourself in the sweetest way possible. Food number 4. Warm milk with turmeric. Some evenings, as the sun slips behind the trees and the world outside grows still, there's a certain peace that settles in the kitchen. I've always found comfort in those quiet moments, standing by the stove, cradling a favorite mug in my hands, and feeling the gentle heat rise. But in recent years, I've discovered a new kind of comfort, one that doesn't just soothe the soul but also gently restores the body. For me, it started with a cup of warm milk, golden and fragrant, laced with a dash of turmeric. It all began on a night when sleep felt like an old friend I hadn't seen in a while. My joints ached a bit more than usual, and my thoughts wouldn't quite settle. I remembered reading about golden milk in a magazine, how it was a time-honored remedy, especially cherished in other cultures for its calming and healing powers. So, I decided to try it for myself. I warmed a cup of milk, not boiling, just enough to let off steam, and whisked in a pinch of golden turmeric, a shake of black pepper, to help my body soak up the good stuff. And just this once, a drop of honey for a gentle sweetness. The aroma was warm and earthy, inviting me to pause and breathe deeply. I curled up in my favorite chair and took slow, thoughtful sips. The drink was comforting, almost nostalgic, like a bedtime story from childhood. That night, I found myself drifting into sleep with surprising ease, the aches in my joints less insistent, my body more at peace. And in the morning, I felt more rested than I had in weeks, a small miracle in itself. I learned that the magic of this humble drink lies in its 2 main ingredients. Milk, a staple in so many American kitchens, is far more than just a bedtime beverage. It's packed with casein protein, a slow-digesting, muscle-loving nutrient that supports recovery and repair while you sleep. It also brings along calcium for strong bones, vitamin D for immunity and mood, and tryptophan, that natural amino acid that helps our brains and bodies relax at the end of a busy day. For women over 65, these building blocks aren't just nice to have, they're essential. Then, there's turmeric, an unassuming yellow powder that's been used for centuries as both spice and medicine. What I didn't know before, but cherish now, is that turmeric contains curcumin, one of nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory agents. Our bodies, after years of carrying families, working and living full lives, often collect little aches, pains, and bits of inflammation. Curcumin works quietly, like a good neighbor, helping soothe sore muscles and creaky joints, gently turning down the volume on pain and stiffness. But here's the real secret. When you combine warm milk with turmeric and just a hint of black pepper, you create a nightcap that does more than just comfort. It helps your body fight inflammation, repair muscles, and slip into a deeper, more healing sleep. Science even backs this up. Studies show that adults who enjoy a protein-rich drink before bed see significant boosts in muscle repair, and when turmeric is added, there's a measurable drop in joint pain and morning stiffness. Now, making golden milk has become a ritual I cherish. Sometimes I add a sprinkle of cinnamon or swap in almond milk if my stomach's feeling sensitive. There's something meditative about stirring the golden swirl, watching the color bloom, and breathing in the promise of rest. It's a simple pleasure, a gentle nudge to care for myself, body and soul, at the close of every day. What I love most, though, is how this evening ritual connects me to the women who came before me. My mother and my grandmother, who understood that healing and comfort could be found in the rhythms of daily life. They may not have called it golden milk, but they believed in the power of a warm cup and a moment of peace. So, if you're looking for a gentle way to ease your body into rest, soothe your joints, and help your muscles recover while you sleep, why not try a cup of warm milk with turmeric tonight? Let the goldenness remind you of the strength and resilience you carry within you, built up over a lifetime. You deserve that comfort, that healing, and that sweet, deep sleep. Sometimes, the simplest routines are the ones that change everything. One golden sip at a time. Food number 5. Greek yogurt. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that sometimes the best answers are found in the simplest, most wholesome foods. I used to think of yogurt as nothing more than a breakfast side or an afterthought on the grocery list. Something my grandkids might grab for a quick snack or stir into a smoothie. Greek yogurt, in particular, seemed like one of those health trends that belonged to younger folks. But my opinion changed completely the year I set out to take my strength and independence back, one small step at a time. I remember the afternoon I first noticed just how tired and heavy my legs felt as I climbed the stairs. It wasn't just fatigue, it was a sense that my body was working harder than ever for less reward. That realization left me worried, even a little sad. Would I eventually have to give up gardening, or pass on those impromptu walks in the park with my family? Would the simple joys of movement slip out of reach? I was determined not to let that happen. So I began searching for gentle ways to care for my muscles, ways that didn't involve harsh diets or gym memberships. That's when I stumbled upon Greek yogurt. It was a recommendation tucked away in an article about healthy aging, a little footnote really, but it caught my eye. Enjoying a bowl of Greek yogurt before bed can help your muscles recover, keep your bones strong, and even support deep, restorative sleep. It sounded almost too good to be true, but I had nothing to lose by trying. That first evening, I opened a container of plain Greek yogurt, curious and maybe a little skeptical. The texture was thicker and creamier than the yogurt I'd known, with a pleasant tang that made me think of old-fashioned buttermilk. I added a few slices of fresh berries, a light dusting of cinnamon, and a drizzle of honey. Sitting at my kitchen table in the soft glow of the lamp, I took my first spoonful, and found comfort not only in the taste but in the intention behind it. For the first time in a while, I was eating to nurture myself. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What I didn't realize then was how truly special Greek yogurt is. Unlike regular yogurt, it's strained several times, resulting in a higher protein content and a satisfyingly thick consistency. That protein, especially the casein it contains, digests slowly, feeding your muscles through the long hours of sleep and helping to repair the tiny tears and wear that come with a life well lived. For women over 65, that kind of sustained support is gold. I soon discovered that Greek yogurt was gentle on my stomach, too, a relief after years of avoiding heavier evening snacks. But the benefits didn't stop there. Greek yogurt is packed with calcium for strong bones, probiotics for a happy gut, and less sugar than many flavored yogurts. The probiotics became especially important to me as I learned more about how gut health can impact everything from immunity to inflammation, even mood and energy levels. In a quiet way, that nightly bowl of Greek yogurt helped me feel balanced from the inside out. There's also a certain comfort in rituals, and making my nightly bowl became one of mine. Sometimes I'd add chopped walnuts or sunflower seeds for a little crunch, or stir in some vanilla extract when I was craving something sweeter. On warmer evenings, I'd top it with ripe peach slices or even a sprinkle of chia seeds. The possibilities were endless, but the intention was always the same: to gently care for myself, to end the day with kindness. Week by week, I began to notice changes. I woke up feeling lighter and more rested. My legs, once so tired, had a new sense of spring in them. Those aches and stiffness that used to greet me every morning faded into the background. I felt steadier on my feet, more eager to get up and greet the day. My confidence returned, too, not just in my body, but in the choices I was making for my well-being. Greek yogurt, as it turns out, is more than just a food. It's a partner in the journey of aging well. It's a simple pleasure that quietly supports your strength, your bones, your sleep, and even your digestion. It's a reminder that self-care doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Sometimes, it's as easy as reaching for a bowl and a spoon. So, if you're looking for a gentle, nourishing way to support your muscles and wake up feeling truly restored, consider welcoming Greek yogurt into your nightly routine. You might just find, as I did, that the journey to greater strength and energy begins with the simplest act of kindness to yourself. One creamy, comforting bite at a time. Food number 6. Tuna in olive oil. There's a kind of quiet wisdom that settles in with age. The knowledge that true strength isn't just about muscle, but about resilience, resourcefulness, and the simple choices we make every day. I used to think of tuna as nothing more than a humble lunch staple, something you might mix with mayo for a quick sandwich or toss onto a salad in a hurry. But as I've learned more about caring for my body, especially my muscles and joints, I've come to appreciate how something as simple as tuna packed in olive oil can be a powerful ally for women like us. The discovery began on a sunny afternoon when my daughter stopped by for lunch. She always brings her ideas about superfoods, and that day, she handed me a small can of tuna in olive oil. "Mom, you've got to try this," she said, eyes sparkling. "It's not just delicious, it's good for you, especially before bed." I was skeptical. Tuna at night. But she smiled and assured me, "Trust me, it's different." Curiosity got the best of me, and that evening, I opened the can. Instantly, a rich, savory aroma filled the kitchen. The tuna was tender and flavorful, a world away from the dry, bland chunks I remembered from childhood picnics. The olive oil, golden and silky, gave it a luscious texture that felt almost luxurious. I added a squeeze of fresh lemon, a sprinkle of cracked black pepper, and a few slices of cucumber. It was simple, satisfying, and surprisingly comforting. That night, I found myself sleeping soundly and waking up feeling less achy than usual. It was a subtle shift, but it felt real. The more I looked into it, the more it all made sense. Tuna, especially when packed in olive oil, is a treasure trove of lean, high-quality protein, just what our muscles crave after a lifetime of use and love. But what truly sets it apart is its abundance of leucine, that special amino acid that acts as a spark plug for muscle repair and growth. For women over 65, whose bodies need more encouragement to maintain muscle, leucine is like a best friend who never lets you down. The olive oil is more than just a tasty addition. It's rich in heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and helps your body absorb vital nutrients, including those from the tuna itself. Olive oil slows down digestion a bit, allowing your muscles to be nourished throughout the night instead of all at once. That means while you sleep, your body has a steady supply of the building blocks it needs to repair and strengthen itself, right down to the smallest fibers. No wonder I woke up feeling less stiff and more ready to greet the day. What struck me most was how convenient and approachable this little meal was. On nights when I felt too tired to cook, or when my appetite was low, a few bites of tuna in olive oil became my go-to. I could pair it with a few whole grain crackers or crisp veggie sticks for a light snack that didn't weigh me down. No need for fancy recipes or hours in the kitchen. Just good, honest food that works quietly in the background, helping me reclaim my strength. And the science backs it up, too. I read that older adults who included high-protein, omega-3 rich foods like tuna before bed saw marked improvements in muscle repair, joint comfort, and even morning energy. The combination of protein and healthy fat does more than just stave off hunger. It nourishes us deeply, helping to slow the gradual loss of muscle that can creep up with age. Even my family began to notice. My daughter would ask, "How do you feel these days, Mom?" And I'd tell her honestly that I felt stronger, lighter, more like myself again. I even recommended tuna in olive oil to my friends at church and in my book club. Many of them had the same surprised reaction. Tuna? At night. But after a few tries, they were hooked too. It became a shared secret, a little act of self-care we could all enjoy. Now, whenever I open a can of tuna in olive oil, I think about how small choices can make a big difference. It's a gentle way of telling myself that I'm worth nourishing, even at the end of a long day. So if you're looking for a simple, satisfying way to care for your muscles, your heart, and your sense of well-being, give tuna in olive oil a try. Add a little lemon or your favorite veggies, make it your own, and savor the strength that grows quietly, night after night. It's never too late to discover that sometimes, the most humble foods can be your greatest source of power. Food number 7. Hard-boiled eggs. There's something timeless and reassuring about the simple act of boiling an egg. Maybe it's the memory of mothers and grandmothers, bustling in the kitchen, filling the house with the familiar scent of breakfast, or packing up a lunchbox with care. For many of us, eggs have always been a staple, affordable, nourishing, and comforting in their simplicity. But what I never realized until much later in life is just how powerful a hard-boiled egg could be, especially for women like us who want to wake up feeling strong, steady, and truly ready to greet each new day. My own story with hard-boiled eggs is more recent than you might think. I'd spent years chasing after the latest diet trends, avoiding eggs here and there when experts told me to, only to circle back and rediscover them in a completely new light. It started on a day when I felt particularly weary, the kind of tiredness that lingers deep in your bones. My daughter, ever the voice of reason, handed me a hard-boiled egg with a sprinkle of salt and pepper and insisted, "Try this before bed tonight, Mom. You'll be surprised." I was skeptical, but her words lingered. That evening, I peeled the egg, sliced it in half, and took a bite. It was soft, creamy, and somehow felt just right. The next morning, I noticed a subtle difference, a little less stiffness in my knees, and a little more ease as I got out of bed. It wasn't dramatic, but it was there, like a gentle promise that things could get better with small, mindful choices. What I learned along the way is that hard-boiled eggs are a true powerhouse for women over 65. Each egg holds about 6 grams of complete, high-quality protein, packed with all the essential amino acids your body needs to rebuild and repair muscles, something that becomes even more important as we age. And then there's leucine, that magical amino acid that helps flip the switch for muscle growth and maintenance. For older women, getting enough leucine is critical, and eggs deliver just the right amount in a form that's easy for our bodies to use. But the gifts of a hard-boiled egg go beyond just protein. There are B vitamins to help with energy, vitamin D to support bones, and healthy fats that help us feel satisfied without weighing us down. I noticed that having an egg before bed kept me from waking up hungry in the middle of the night, and the steady energy carried me through until morning. No sugar spikes, no crashes. What makes hard-boiled eggs so wonderful too, is how gentle they are on the stomach. On those evenings when my appetite was small or my energy was low, I didn't have to fuss in the kitchen. Just boil a few eggs ahead of time, keep them in the fridge, and you've got a ready-made snack whenever you need it. Some nights, I'd slice an egg and sprinkle it with turmeric and black pepper, a little anti-inflammatory boost, or pair it with a sliver of avocado for extra creaminess. Other nights, I'd keep it plain and simple, savoring the pure comfort of the egg itself. The more I made hard-boiled eggs part of my nighttime routine, the more I saw changes, subtle at first, but then unmistakable. My mornings became easier, my muscles felt more responsive, and my overall mood lifted. There's a kind of quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're caring for yourself, not through grand gestures, but through steady, loving attention to the small things. I started sharing my discovery with friends, at bridge club, at church gatherings, and even in casual conversations at the grocery store. There was often surprise. "Eggs before bed?" they'd ask. But after trying it for themselves, so many came back with stories of their own. Stories of better sleep, more energy, and even fewer nighttime aches. The hard-boiled egg, in all its humble glory, has become a symbol for me. A reminder that strength isn't just about big muscles or youthful energy. It's about choosing to nourish yourself day after day, in ways that are gentle, simple, and full of love. So if you're searching for an easy, affordable, and satisfying way to support your body as you age, don't overlook the power of the hard-boiled egg. Make it part of your nightly ritual. Let it remind you that small acts of care can add up to big changes over time. And every time you peel back that smooth shell, know that you're doing something truly wonderful for yourself, one delicious, nourishing bite at a time. Food number 8. Cottage cheese. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There's a quiet beauty in discovering that something you overlooked for years can become a new favorite, especially when it comes to nourishing your body. Cottage cheese, with its humble old-fashioned charm, is exactly that kind of food. I have to admit, for most of my life, cottage cheese never really caught my attention. Maybe I'd spot it on a salad bar, or see a friend add a spoonful to their plate, but it always seemed a little plain, almost too simple to be powerful. That was until I began to truly care about what would help me stay strong and independent as I aged. I still remember the afternoon I reintroduced myself to cottage cheese. My doctor had just explained how important it is for women over 65 to get enough protein, especially the slow-digesting kind that would help my muscles recover and rebuild during the night. She mentioned cottage cheese in passing, her voice reassuring, and I thought, why not give it a try? That evening, I went to the store and picked up a small tub. The next night, as the sun dipped low, I scooped out half a cup and let myself taste it for the first time in years. It was mild and creamy, surprisingly comforting, and as I sat quietly at my kitchen table, I realized this could easily become part of my nighttime ritual. But what truly won me over was what I learned next. Cottage cheese is packed with casein, a special kind of protein that digests slowly, providing your muscles with a steady supply of nutrients through the long hours of sleep. For women our age, who need every advantage to preserve muscle and maintain balance, that's no small thing. I began to look forward to that evening treat, not just for the flavor, but for the gentle assurance it offered that I was caring for my body in a real and lasting way. What makes cottage cheese so unique is how it works quietly, behind the scenes, while you rest. During sleep, our bodies enter a natural fasting period. If we haven't had enough protein before bed, our bodies may break down muscle tissue for fuel, especially as we get older. But with a serving of cottage cheese, you give your body the building blocks it needs to repair and rebuild, helping you wake up feeling steadier, stronger, and more yourself. I noticed the changes slowly at first. After a week or two, I found it easier to get up from my favorite chair. My arms felt less shaky as I reached for my morning coffee. Those first steps out of bed were smoother, without the tightness and aches that used to greet me each day. It wasn't a miracle, but it was a quiet, steady progress, the kind that builds confidence over time. Cottage cheese is also a source of tryptophan, an amino acid that helps support restful sleep. That was a pleasant surprise. On nights when my thoughts raced or I worried about the coming day, I found that my little bowl of cottage cheese helped me unwind. Sometimes I'd add a sprinkle of cinnamon or a handful of fresh berries for a bit of sweetness and color. Other times, I'd stir in a spoonful of chia seeds or a drizzle of honey, creating a nourishing treat that felt both wholesome and special. What I love most about cottage cheese is its versatility. It's gentle on the stomach, affordable, and easy to dress up or down. Whether enjoyed plain or with a touch of fruit, it feels like a small act of self-care, one that doesn't require a lot of fuss or planning. Over time, it's become a cherished part of my evening, a way of saying thank you to my body for carrying me through another busy day. And I'm not alone. Many friends and women in my community have their own cottage cheese stories, adding it to toast, pairing it with peaches, or simply savoring it with a dash of salt and pepper. We laugh about how it reminds us of our mothers or grandmothers, and how, after all these years, we're finally coming back to the foods that truly serve us well. So, if you're looking for a simple, nourishing way to protect your strength, help your muscles recover, and greet each morning with a little more ease, consider giving cottage cheese another chance. Sometimes the old favorites are exactly what we need, right when we need them most. Embrace this gentle powerhouse and let it become part of your own story, a nightly reminder that you are worth every bit of care you give yourself. As I look back on this journey, I'm struck by how the smallest choices, an evening snack, a quiet moment in the kitchen, the decision to nourish ourselves with intention, can change so much about how we feel each day. These foods might seem humble, but they carry the power to help us reclaim strength, move with confidence, and wake up feeling a bit more like the women we've always been. I hope you see now that looking after your muscles and your well-being doesn't have to mean complicated routines or drastic changes. It can begin with something as simple as a bowl of cottage cheese, a glass of Tart cherry juice, or the warm comfort of golden milk before bed. Maybe you'll choose just one new habit to try tonight, or maybe you'll experiment until you find the evening ritual that fits you best. The important thing is that you're giving yourself the gift of care, the gift of strength, and the gentle message that you are worthy of good health at every age. I'd love to hear what you've learned from this video, or which food you're most excited to try. Leave a comment and share your thoughts below. Remember, your story isn't finished. There are still new mornings waiting, still strength to be found, and still joy in every new day. You deserve it.